I and the rest partners of our group would like to welcome to our lecture Mrs. Dr. Koya, Dr. Fandidis, and Dr. Kosileva. Based on the program, the title of the lecture is The Innovation Project's Importance for Social Acceptance of Mining Activities and the Raw Material Industry. The session includes a lecture of 3 hours and in the last minutes, a discussion with the audience will take place. You can contact me or the other members of the group for any classification or questions at the end of the lecture. The International Hellenic University was initially established in October 2005. The university structure was reformed in 2019, now incorporating the 3 technological educational institutes from northern Greece, the Alexander Technological Education Institute of Thessaloniki, the Technological Education Institute of Central Macedonia, and the Technological Education Institute of Eastern Macedonia and Thrace. Since 2019, IHU is comprised of 9 schools and total of 33 departments allocated in the northern Greece. School of Science is located in Kavala, which is up here, facilitating the Department of Physics, Computer Science, and Chemistry. Chemistry department and its infrastructure is distributed within the campus of Kavala, as we can see in the picture. Our vision is bring fundamental science in the modern reality. Therefore, our mission is to educate and equip our students with high-end knowledge and skills through a research-driven education program. Collaboration actions and networking is the core of our strategy in order to outreach our achievements and promote and interchange good practices. In this slide, you can see the main image of the research in the International Hellenic University. Our scientists work within 4 of the main research sections of the International Hellenic University: environment sciences, energy, nanomaterials, and data management. The aim of the lectures is, in this section, to introduce learners to the problem of social acceptance in relation to mining activities. For example, extraction and management of raw materials, and to try to find innovative proposals to strengthen the social acceptance of citizens when it comes to activities of this kind. The contents of the presentation are below mentioned. An introduction with the most important recent knowledge is presented. This course focuses on mining activities and raw material industry, the factors and the innovation projects that affect social acceptance. After the conclusions, the latest references are listed, most of them of the last year. The general picture of the perception is presented that prevail worldwide about the intention of citizens to accept the initiation of activities of extraction and exploitation of primary materials close to the place where they live. Citizens who are informed of the industrial development effects on the environment and consequently on health are not easily convinced by the mining companies' plans. Consequently, they usually accompany the upcoming mining activities with protests and reactions. Mining companies are recognizing the importance of engaging the local communities to build trust and establish positive relationships. Mining companies are increasingly transparent about their activities, including reporting on environment and social impact. This can help build trust with local communities and improve social acceptance, avoiding conflicts. This includes partnering with local organizations to create economic opportunities, supporting education and training programs, and addressing community concerns. To address this problem, an attempt is made to identify the interests of the individual stakeholders. An attempt is also made to work out a compromise, and an attempt is made to suggest solutions that would help resolve the situation and bring benefits to all parties concerned. In any case, the social aspect in the mining activity is very important, and huge problems could be caused by the lack of communication between the stakeholders. The aim of the lectures in this section is to introduce students to the problem of social acceptance in relation to mining activities. For example, extraction and management of raw materials, and to try to find innovative proposals to strengthen the social acceptance of citizens when it comes to activities of this kind. Let's try to answer what are the social benefits of mining. We will going to find out the social benefits of mining, which include low cost, reliable electricity, and the materials necessary to bring homes, schools, hospitals, roads, highways, bridges, and airports. Afterward, a definition of the topic of mining activities is given, and which are the raw materials and the relative industry are referred. Furthermore, the localization of these activities is described. The mining activities definition is provided here, which is the process of extracting metallic and non-metallic mineral or industrial rock deposits from the earth. Raw materials are defined as the input goods or inventory that a company needs to manufacture its products. Now, we're going to recognize some examples of raw materials, including steel, oil, corn, grain, gasoline, lumber, natural gas, forest resources, plastic, coal, and minerals. Alternative raw materials are an important pillar in building a circular economy, helping the community achieve their sustainability and climate goals. Localization of material supply, which is considered a cost reduction method and a strategy that increases the flexibility of the supply chain in the companies, has become one of the most recent trends in our globalized world. The awareness of localization over the last decade among both academics and practitioners. In the right table, countries that are the world's top nature resource producers are listed as a percentage of their gross domestic product, GDP. According to 2002 World Bank data. The World Bank calculates these percentages using natural resource rent. We can notice that the Congo Republic holding the first place
I'm sorry, Atanasia, I can't hear you. Can you hear me, Atanasia? Professor Atanasia, I'm sorry.
Lina, I'm going to see if there is any technical issue right now or something else.
Okay, thank you, Ramona.
I can hear you.
Okay, all good.
It's all right now?
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
now
you
it's
very
all
much.
right.
Thank you very much. The beginning of any mining project begins with the exploration stage. It's where the magic happens. Companies enlist geologists and others to understand the characteristics of the land and prospect remote areas in search of mineral deposits. Once the miner has addressed all the regulatory, funding, and technical aspects of the project, it can finally start construction. This process can be different depending on the mineral being mined. And the size of the project will often take longer and exploratory and design stages. Construction of mining sites involves building roads, processing facilities, environmental management systems, employee housing, and other facilities. Eventually, the project is constructed and ready to begin producing. The two most common methods of mining area surface and underground mining. The method is determined mainly by the characteristic of the mineral deposit and the limits imposed by safety, technology, environmental, and economical concerns. The final stage of mining operation is closure and reclamation. Many mines may be capable of producing economically for decades, but mining is still a temporary activity. The vast majority of companies now have to formulate their plan or how to close their operation before they even build it, as governments require assurances that operators have a plan and the funds needed to close the mine before they are willing to issue permits. Understanding and taking into account the factors that influence social acceptability when designing a project is a matter of financial and social risk management. This helps ensure a strong relationship with the community. The role of exploration, exploitation of mineral deposits in meeting the basic needs of human life and social development has been undeniable by centuries and has been repeatedly emphasized in scientific works. In the next slides, we are going to develop a discussion on the direct and indirect role of economy, the social, the political, and the cultural factors. A direct economy benefits is the employment of many people, which leads to enhance their financial earning. Many minerals support several sectors of economy, such as construction, chemicals, automotive, aerospace, electronics, power generation, and machinery manufacturing. They are dependent on access to many minerals. The development of new materials, such as modern electronics and renewable energy technologies for the production, is a direct economic benefit. An extremely important driver of the increase in mineral resource demand will be, for example, the energy transition phase by European countries. Photovoltaics, wind turbines, and other such similar machines will be created, which will provide energy through the exploration of mining materials. Influencer marketing as part of the advertising industry has grown significantly in recent years, becoming one of the most popular and effective forms of online advertising. There is an economic advancement and improved quality of life for all citizens. Extracting materials through quarrying is a form of land development that, similarly to urbanization, disturbs and remakes places. The extent of these disruptions and their prevention depends on the efficacy of regulatory interventions and the adaptive capacity of local communities. These capacities differ between places, regions, and countries. What is more, people who support the politician will gain jobs if they vote them in the elections. Exports are the sale of domestically produced goods and services to another country, both domestically and abroad. So there will be economic development for the country and public relations between countries and politicians. There is also a political effect through the politician's power, which when enlarges, there is a greater flexibility to favor his fellow citizens. What is more, it is worth noting that such places possess local cultural values and may be an important element for tourism attraction. Their use by tourist routes may contribute to boosting the tourist industry and raising regional touristic attractiveness through making additional attractions created on the basis of transformations that came into existence due to the excavation. Many old mines and quarries are now valuable natural reserve sites of special scientific interest or important for their industrial archaeology. Mining and raw materials companies that prioritize sustainability, community engagement, and technological innovation can improve social acceptance and build long-term relationships with the communities in which they operate. In the next step, there will be a discussion over the types of mining activities, the innovative methods of raw materials utilization for the circular economy, their use of mining activities solution, the innovative methods for sustainability and recycling in mining, and finally, the recent automation. Traditional mining techniques can have a several impact on the environment, and some pure popular methods like open pit and underground mining present some of the most significant environmental risks. By instead using new alternative low-impact mining techniques like in-situ leaching, mining companies can reduce the environmental impact. With many of these techniques, companies can significantly reduce surface disturbance at mining sites, lower soil erosion, and move less material that would need backfilled. Lowering interference in this way can both reduce environmental impact and result in less work when preparing a site for quicker remediation or rehabilitation. This circular economy is an economic system where waste is designed out. Everything is used as its highest possible value for as long as possible and natural systems are regenerated. The concept of circularity closely mimics nature, where there is no waste. All materials have value and are used to sustain life in a myriad of ways. If we effectively deploy these strategies, we will ultimately require fewer materials to provide for similar societal needs. Innovative materials and technologies promise that the mines of the future can be more environmentally sustainable. And cleaner mining approaches are only one piece of the puzzle. Mining companies are increasingly adopting sustainable practices that minimize their impact on the environment and surrounding communities. This includes using advanced technologies and equipment to reduce emissions, reusing water and waste materials, or restoring land after mining activities. In many cases, businesses leave waste behind when mining operations cease, or in the case of tailings stored in large structures like tailing dams, which are prone to failure and as a result cause several environmental damage. Luckily, for almost every category of mining waste, there are at least one or two ways to reuse that waste on or off site. Companies can use waste rocks in simple on-site construction, like backfilling voids and reconstructing mined terrain in a way that prevents soil erosion. When adequately treated, mine water can be reused in just about any fashion for agriculture as coolant, in on-site dust separation, and for drinking water. Even tailing, often toxic and left behind in mine sites or stored in large-scale tailing dams, can find eco-friendly use. Depending on the mineral and chemical composition of the tailing, businesses can use them in the production of bricks as paint extender or in agroforestry. Some new technologies even make it possible to further mine from these tailing, reusing the overall amount of minerals and get left behind in mining sites, while also reducing the volume of waste storage in tailing dams. Companies can use waste rocks in simple on-site construction, like backfilling voids and reconstructing mine terrain in a way that prevents soil erosion. Automation and robotics are becoming more common in the mining industry, allowing for safer and more efficient extraction of minerals. Automated drilling rings, for example, can drill holes more precisely and quickly than human operators. Innovations in mining technology have also improved social acceptance by reducing the impact of mining activities on the environmental and local communities. For example, autonomous mining vehicles reduce the risk of accidents, while sensor-based monitoring systems can help prevent environmental damage. Mining brings about risk and danger with failing rocks, entrapment, and fire endangering the safety of workers on a regular basis. The industry is changing to become safer and more efficient thanks to the introduction of automated robots. Robots now assist in drilling and excavation, in the detection of dangerous gases, much like the canneries used in coal mines in the early 20th century, and in the hauling of rock in and out of mines. These autonomous machines protect humans and are essential in areas that are unsafe for people, such as abandoned mines. Autonomous robots equipped with sensors and can explore dangerous or difficult to reach areas, as well as work in hazardous environments. These robots have the capability to detect obstacles and navigate safely, making them an invaluable asset for miners. With the coming of robotic haul trucks, trains, drilling, and blasting rigs, the human miner will disappear from the mines as robots take over. Automated trains have been around for some time, but this may change as or will need to be shipped to ports many miles from the mines, and there is a shortage of drivers. For many years now, robots have taken on the role of humans in many jobs, especially the more dangerous ones, like mining. Automation makes it possible for machines to do much of the heavy lifting involved in extracting resources from underground mines or quarries. This can greatly reduce the cost of labor, as well as make operations much safer and more efficient. Technicians and engineers can monitor and control the mine of the future from thousands of miles away. From digital twins to automation and robotics, advancements within mining operations have transformed the image of the industry from being associated with pixels and souls to resembling a science fiction movie. Innovations are aimed to helping mining companies optimize their performance while minimizing their impact on the environment. Drones are ubiquitous in the mining industry these days. Usually, exploration mining projects being remotely located. Drone deployment has been the technology of choice to ensure human error, free data acquisition in a safe, cost-effective, and timely manner. Drones' outputs help mining and metal companies and professionals, especially geologists, in exploration planning and mining engineers, in mine planning, mining operation, haul road management, stock road survey, and slime dam surveillance. The social acceptance of innovative projects, applications, and technologies is a function of the attitudes, behaviors, opinions, and activities resulting from the interactions between stakeholders, the general public, or lay society as a whole, and the proposed technologies. Now we're going to examine the factors that innovation projects affect social acceptance. These are the creation of more qualified staff and more jobs, the tourist attraction when a quarry is abandoned, for example, transforming as a motocross track, the restoration of the landscape in terms of environmental impact, the green approach and operation with sophisticated solutions. And finally, the utilization of various wastes, such as rubble, aggregates, and others. The need for more qualified staff brings to the organization of educational seminars for the training of the basic knowledge of mining materials and technological development. But also, universities programs provide classes and sustainability training to young professionals with degrees relevant to mining engineering. Mining often provides local communities with jobs, which may enable those in subsistence to join the cash economy. Others who already had paid work may find themselves better off, since in many countries mining pays relatively higher wages. Particularly in developing countries, wages may increase through localization schemes or through moving local employees into higher positions within a company by way of corporate training. The training and development of employees by experienced specialized trainers pose benefits both for the individual members of staff and the organization itself. It's an all-encompassing positive for your business, with managers and business owners passing on their knowledge to other members of staff and newly trained employees not only picking up new skills and potentially showing stronger performance, but also feeling appreciated, invested in, and more engaged. Below, we take a look at some of the major benefits associated with staff training and development. A motocross center has been proposed for a disused quarry, transforming the disused quarry site into the A1 motocross track will result in an area of land that can now be used and enjoyed by many. A proposed built off-road track can allow people to learn, improve their skills, be coached, participate in competitions, achieve professional status, or just spectate and enjoy the crowd and atmosphere. Transforming the disused quarry sites into the A1 motocross track will result in an area of land that can now be used and enjoyed by many. Batch Quarry is one of the UK's favorite MX and enduro tracks, and it is about to do battle with its neighbors over noise. Mining areas after exhaustion of coal reserves offer good potential for promoting tourism by developing eco-parks, sites of water sports, underground visits, golf grounds, avenues for recreation, adventure, bird watching, etc. Over the year, coal have developed more than 30 eco-parks by undertaking sustainable mine closure practices. These mining sites are now stable, environmentally sustainable, and present a very beautiful site aesthetically. Mining industry heritage sites are becoming more and more popular as tourist attractions. After the mines have been shut down, those regions need to boost mining tourism, can give them in order to survive. So what do you do with a mine after it's fulfilled its original purpose? An increasing number of destinations across the globe are turning sources of extraction into places of attraction. Here is a look at some innovative regeneration projects that are breathing new life into former industrial wastelands, including place for recreation and enjoying the view. Producing metal by growing plants or photomining has long been typed as an alternative, environmentally sustainable way to reshape, if not to replace, the mining industry. Tourism attraction concerns easy access for cultivating crops that beautify the surrounding area. Two methods for land improvement and restoration are recommended. The first one is designing a method for land improvement by afforestation, and secondly, designing a method for land improvement by planting fruit trees and short-term crops. The most active mine sites are situated on land considered to be of high conservation value, and even though animals are often assumed to return to the area of mine site following its closure and the return of vegetation, in practice, restoring animal communities and biodiversity has proved to be challenging. The mutual beneficial relationship between mining and tourism is now more than obvious in hundreds of sites all over the world, for the reason that mine opening and close provides socioeconomic development opportunities for all stakeholders. Typically, this is the positive product of trilateral procedures of consultations that involves responsible mining companies, proactive governments, and rational communities. This parking area can also be used by visitors to the culture and tourism area. Deforestation from the mine threatens biodiversity and results in soil degradation, erosion, and polluted runoff, all directly impacting human populations. Revegetation methods developed for temperate forests are commonly used globally for mine rehabilitation. However, few empirical studies on native forest restoration as a part of mine rehabilitation exist for the wet tropical regions. Mining companies are increasingly adopting sustainable practices that minimize their impact on the environment and surrounding communities. This includes using advanced technologies and equipment to reduce emissions, reusing water and waste materials, or restoring land after mining activities. Depending on the location of a quarry, establishment of a refreshment center, observatory, hotel units, ski resorts, given the easy access. When you combine Chinese luxury resort boom and the fact that the country is seeing some of the world's most innovative architecture projects, you can get the sea plans like this: a massive luxury resort construction project on the side of an abandoned quarry. Here is a rendering of the resort is depicted. Landscape restoration, while simultaneously increasing the visual absorption capacity of this landscape. Visual absorption capacity is the potential of the landscape to conceal the proposed project. Here we can see an example of the effectiveness of the visual absorption potential of the landscape. The concept of green mining involves using renewable energy sources, reducing carbon footprint, recycling and reusing materials, or minimizing environmental impact. This approach can help mining companies gain social acceptance by demonstrating their commitment to sustainability. Use of such wastes rich in calcium for remediation of acid and calcium deficient soils might be an environmentally sound way to reduce the amount of waste to be disposed. The main objective is to determine the effect of marble quarry and cutting wastes on the soil properties. Field tests were conducted to 1 year in this country. The results showed that the marble waste had a significant effect on reutilization of the soil as well as the hazelnut yield. Up to the current time, the results indicate the quarry waste has a reasonable potential for use as construction material for the base layer of decoration. Marble industry produces large amount of waste during mining and processing stages. This waste is dumped onto open land, which creates a lot of environmental problems. The utilization of marble waste as a replacement for decorating gardens, walls, and more solves a large part of this issue. Coal gang used to power generating is an important way to dispose the solid waste. Using sophisticated technology, mixed fuel coal gang with slime for power generation. This technology has solved the difficult problem of different low-calorie fuels mixed together. Now we're going to enjoy a disused quarry transformed into a tourism town in East China's Shandong. We can see here people visit Kuli Wine Home Cultural Creativity Industrial Park in Anhui City. This is an aerial photo taken on 2019, shows the view of Wine Home Cultural Creativity Industrial Park. This is an aerial photo too. Here, a couple pose for wedding photos. Another area photo is this. And again, an aerial photo. Here you can see an aerial photo too. And here we can see people visit the Cultural Creativity Industrial Park in Anhui City. We can enjoy the pictures of this park. Here are people who visit this place. Here the villagers take care of rose garden in this park. People who visit this park are depicted. Another photo of this park too. We see people enjoy the visitation in the park. And here is a last aerial photo. Another place of the city in this park. So we have enjoyed these pictures of the industrial city. With the last photo, I want to ask if there are questions from the audience. I have to remind the remote participants to send their questions on chat. In this stage, we will have a break of 15 minutes if nothing else we have to add. Thank you everyone for your contribution. See you all after the break.
Thank you, Professor Atanasia. There is any question? No, I think that we don't have questions. Yes, we have.
Maybe in the last minutes of the presentation.
Sorry, Professor Atanasia, yes, actually we have one question here.
The question is, I would like to know how the restoration project is financed by the mining company or a national government. Could you specify which project you are you referring? Or it is a general question? Okay. Let's see in the presentation. Let's go back to this slide. Okay. Okay, do you mean this? So we are going to, we refer to the East China Shandong and the disused quarry, which has transformed into tourist town. And the finance was by the government, I think. I'm not sure, but I think it was by the government.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. In the last slides, we have the references by the bibliography, and there are the links of these pictures and these spaces such as Anhui City of China. So everyone can go to these links and to obtain more knowledge for every section. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Is someone else who wants to ask something?
Is there any question?
Mr. Fandidis has added that usually there is no financial from the government, usually. But we will find it when we read more about this. Okay.
Oh, I raised my hand. I have another question.
Okay, we can hear it.
Okay, for areas that are far away, do you see that there is a challenge to make them tourism sites? For instance, a mining site that is maybe 7 hours drive away from the city, do you see a challenge in converting them into mining sites? So what other purpose can they serve? So for tourist sites, I mean, besides for tourism.
Do you mean that there are some places that far away from center, from big cities, and we can reach them easy?
I mean, some places are far away from the city. So if you use them for tourism, it's too far for people to come. So what other thing can they be used for if not tourism?
Okay. No. I'm not sure that this is our purpose to analyze, but I think that there would be some prediction for this by the authorities, by the government, or the companies who are the minors. Do you mean after the mining closure?
Yes, I mean after mine closure, when activities are done, for sustainability, to use the area for another good purpose after mining closure.
Usually.
No, I was
yes.
just asking if you have seen any other or any other examples besides tourism, besides you showed a Formula One track.
We will show some other after the break, and then we can discuss it again. If you are not covered with the next slides that we will show. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Fernando Zigara from Peru, South America. Hi, Athanasia.
Hi, from Greece.
Oh, cool. It's a pleasure. Yeah, I have one question. What do you do with the tails reclamation? Have you got any ideas if you do all this job with the tails or with a excavated area in which you extract the ores? Have you can you list a number of projects that you are doing this way, please?
If the a community are not agree with their plans? Do you mean this?
No, if you present a project to do the tails reclamation is the wasted ore. Okay, in the final of the process, you are sending all the wasted mineral,
Yes.
to a pond. Yeah, okay. What do you do with this area? Do you do the same thing? For example, you make a ground for plantation, or depending. Yeah.
There are many ways to reuse this land. Some of them we have discussed them before, and we're not concluded. We're not finished these examples, but there are more than one. How can I say? Examples, and more than one ways to use this land. You can see after the break that there's some tourism attractions, for example, and the transformation of these landscapes. So here we are again after the break. I want to excuse by my delay. During the break, I contacted with an expert, and I was informed about the knowledge it didn't have in depth. So he told me that the environmental impact is borne by the company. Also, I would like to ask you that if anything specific other than what we present you want to clarify it would be better idea to send all the questions to us in our group through the emails in writing, and we will soon receive. You will soon receive an accurate response from the experts. So this is a better idea, I think, for you. And returning to our presentation, and to sum up, we're going to conclude with the main points, giving the results for the innovation projects, importance for social acceptance of mining activities and the raw material industry. The analysis showed that the late innovations in mining activities and the raw material industry gave benefits to citizens and provided a positive impact on social acceptance. So recent innovation in mining activities and the raw material industry aim to improve social acceptance. As are the common aversion to mining activities and the misleading identification of mining as only coal mining and with only negative consequences in the natural sphere. So low public awareness of the use of mineral resources in daily life and the economy is an everyday phenomenon. Widespread protests blocking the commissioning of many mines across the country are a reflection and consequence of this attitude among the adult population. Such phenomena restrict the development of mining industry which provides mineral resources necessary to meet the living needs of present and future generation, and for the competition to economic development of the country. This will have significant negative consequences in the near future. This is because it will make it necessary for many industries to import mineral raw materials, which are necessary to ensure continuity of production. Such phenomena limit the development of the extractive industry in countries. I mean the citizens' protests that prevent many mines from coming into operation in many countries, which have serious consequences for the population, and provide mineral resources necessary to meet the living needs of present and future generation and for the competitive economic development of these countries. This will have significant negative consequences soon. So there is a limitation of the development of the extractive industry in countries that affect the economy of the country. To address this problem, one suggestion is to address the youth. Young people of school age are the most appropriate age to be provided with competent and up-to-date knowledge in this area, using subjects, mainly geography, which are compulsory in the primary and secondary education curriculum. This is import mineral raw materials necessary to ensure continuity of production. And even though their national resources in many cases are very rich, it is estimated that their sufficiency will be for more than 100 years. One of the main actions that should therefore be taken is to pursue a reliable information campaign on the effects of geological and mining activities on the environment, which will be based exclusively on scientific knowledge. It is also important to be promoted innovative mining technologies that do not have a negative impact on the environment, and through existing rehabilitation legislation to be returned all unused areas to nature or to society. If we suppose that social acceptance is the main goal, and this can be achieved through proper education of society, mining and raw materials companies prioritize sustainability, community engagement, and technological innovation can improve social acceptance and build long-term relationships with communities in which they operate. So extensive education campaigns are necessary about mineral resources, especially for the younger generation and an era of widespread digitalization. So we need to show examples that captivate their imagination about the raw materials to young people. If we want to see some examples about the recent innovation in mining activities and in raw material industry, which aim to improve social acceptance, we look this slide. So for sustainable mining and raw material practices, the two important issues is to minimize the impact on the environment and surrounding communities, and to reduce emissions reusing water and waste materials, or restoring land after mining activities through advanced technologies and equipment. It is very important to build trust and establish positive relationships for engaging with local communities. So partnering with local organizations to create economic opportunities, supporting education and training programs, and addressing community concerns. The technological innovation reduced the impact of mining activities and raw materials industry on the environment and local communities. Also, autonomous mining vehicles reduce the risk of accidents, while sensor-based monitoring system can help preventing environmental damage. Focusing on renewable energy reduces operational cost, improves efficiency at the mine through a more stable power supply, and reduces carbon emissions. The real beauty of renewable energy solution is that they also benefit the larger community. So we speak about green mining and the use of renewable energy sources, reducing carbon footprint, recycling and reusing materials, and minimizing environmental impact at last. What is more, gaining social acceptance by demonstrating the commitment to sustainability. A sustainable mine is more likely to be profitable thanks to improved transparency, a greater operational efficiency, net of ore body characteristics, and commodity prices. All other sustainability activities in some form flow towards importing net profits. The most important, yes, yet most difficult relationships to manage are those with local communities. Even with excellent national and regional government relations, the small community next to a mine in a remote area with one access road has the power to shut down the mine. Building relationships with local communities usually means creating value for these communities, which again usually leads to profit sharing. Here we have to refer the main subjects we have discussed before and are listed as a very recent bibliography references. The slides are follows show the links from the internet source and the relevant title under the link. Learners are suggested to explore all these sources to broaden their knowledge from the extra information. I will leave these references in order for someone can explore now the relevant sections. These are the last references. For further reading, IO technology for the mining industry is presented. Internet of Things, IoT technology, is a hot topic with growing applications in the mining industry. IoT is a coordinated network of devices and technology that communicate with each other to increase efficiency, accelerate innovation, and improve business insights. It is difficult to pinpoint an aspect of mining where water does not play its part. From drilling to sprayed concrete, automation can take repetitive jobs that require precision and make them easier, safer, and increase the consistency of quality. This means workers can better utilize their skills in other areas or continue to assist automated operations by using remotely operated machinery. Underground mines are hazardous environments, potentially exposing workers to a range of health and safety risks, from extreme operating conditions such as thermal stress, air pressure, and ventilation hazards, to rock bursts and heavy equipment accidents. Underground workers are exposed to fatal and chronic conditions linked to their environment. Personal safety is therefore of paramount importance in mining, and the industry has taken significant strides to create a safer work environment over the years. Advances in technology and the introduction of strict safety regulations have resulted in a reduction of workplace incidents in recent years, but have not completely eliminated the possibility of safety hazards. Top 5 technological innovations in mining that have the potential to revolutionize safety in mining are referred below. Autonomous technologies, which are bringing a new measure of safety to mines, while are boosting the efficiency of operations. Advances in the capability of robots and automated machines have made it possible to take over activities traditionally carried out by human-controlled machinery. From self-driving trucks to robotic haulers, drilling, and other processes, autonomous equipment boosts safety by removing workers from hazardous environments. One of the biggest issues in mining is air pollution from both underground and above ground operations. Luckily, there are several technologies and automated systems that continuously monitor and provide real-time air quality data, so any issues can be immediately remedied. these slides, these are the further reading references with the appropriate and relevant titles. In this stage, I would like to remind to the participants the evaluation questionnaire, which can be carried out. So please complete the multiple choice questions exams through MS Forms.
Professor Athanasia, sorry.
Sorry, I have just informed that the questionnaire is for
Yes.
tomorrow.
Exactly. The questionnaire will
Okay,
be sent
okay, thank you
tomorrow.
very much.
However, if there are any questions,
We have not completed the presentation.
okay.
Thank you very much. Here are some ancient examples of quarry reuse. The Priscilla catacombs in Rome are a beautiful example based on this concept. The city of Naples, for instance, has exploited since the Roman era tough quarries to convey water from the Serino River. With tragic ends, one remembers of Mauthausen concentration camp in Austria in these years. Candle discarded quarries were rehabilitated and reused as air raid shelters, as happened in Colleferro and in Italy. The Boboli Garden is today the biggest green iron area inside the walls of Florence, based on the ancient spot already overpriced by agriculture and extractive activities. And the last is in Italy with creation of La Mortella Gardens. Here we can see a part of the Lusatian Lake District in the former East Germany, where billions of euros have been spent converting old brown coal mine pits into artificial lakes. Swaths of land in eastern Germany are undergoing an ambitious facelift. Direct open cast mines dating from communist East Germany are being flooded, transforming the area into Europe's biggest artificial lake district. Developers hope it will become a tourist magnet as well. China is the largest producer and consumer of coal and the largest user of coal-generated electricity in the world. During the 2021 energy crisis in China, this dependency on coal units depletion of reversed, increasing import prices and slowdowns of shipment and production lead to widespread shutdowns of industrial energy use. Potted plants are used to disguise degraded land as green land at a mineral mine in China. Here we can see a construction company that had placed plotted plants and turned on concrete or sandy ground to distinguish them as green lands. Some local agencies decided to turn the industrial image of a Ukrainian city into tourist trademark. One option to explore the city's mining industry is to take a tour around the operation mine. The deepest mine in Europe reaches the depth of 1,030 meters below the ground. During the excursion, visitors have the opportunity to observe miners at work, the equipment and machinery they use, and an underground laboratory for measuring the percentage of iron in the ore. Here I would like to thank everyone for sharing their time today, and I look forward to see you again at our next conference, and live, not virtual. So, is anybody who have to say something, to add something, or for final thoughts before we close this presentation? Or maybe we can see each other opening our cameras, like me, to say the last words. Lina, did you enjoy the presentation?